Greetings, folks. Scott Galbraith here, also known as the Great Scott, and welcome to the Great Scott's Roundtable. And I must say that I'm excited about today's Roundtable reunion because it's one very near and dear to my heart. Several times on this Roundtable, you have heard me mention my screenwriting debut, The Reconciler, which was made back in 2014. I wrote it with my good friend Sean Justice, who also directed the film. Well, today I am happy to announce that we have a Reconciler reunion here. I have been reunited with several of my castmates as well as Sean, and I want to thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a nice round of applause, please.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Yay.
All right, I'll take you through this one at a time and let you know who we have here. For those of you who have seen the movie The Reconciler, you know that I play a reporter named Ed, who might be more than he appears to be, but the film starts with me unconscious on the ground, but I'm not the first person the audience sees. The first person the audience sees is a young man with several acting credits to his name, playing the role of James. Please say hello to Jordan Steele. How are you, sir?
Great, how are you?
Good, it's great to see you after all this time.
Yeah, it's
Now, eventually, one thing, I don't think this is a spoiler because everybody who did a blog about the movie gave this away. Eventually in the movie, James and Ed find a third person in the room, and they are slightly surprised when he looks an awful lot like James because he happens to be James's twin brother. And the ironic part is James's twin brother was played by Jordan's twin brother. Please say hello to a man with probably as many acting credits as Jordan Steele, Jeremy Steele. Hello, Jeremy. How you doing?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. It's very nice. I think this is the very first time I've seen you guys on a computer chat where you're not on the same screen. So,
yeah.
Having a girlfriend will do that to you.
Exactly. Now, as James, Alex, and myself are trapped in the room talking about the Reconciler, I tell two stories that flash back to previous Reconciler incidents, and one includes a soldier and his son who are trapped, handcuffed together at the bottom of a mountain. And we have the son of that pair here today. Sometimes when you're doing an independent film, you stumble onto a new talent. This gentleman made his film debut in The Reconciler, playing the role of JR. Please say hello to Levi Davis. How are you, sir?
Great. How about you?
Your on-screen father, Xander Steele, sends his regards. He couldn't get out of work to join us tonight, unfortunately.
I miss my daddy, but that's okay. I understand.
Yeah.
Your mama's.
Mama's here. That's all right. That's all we need.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, you should have said spoiler alert, Sherry, but that's okay. And playing the role of Laurie the reporter, a storyline that was written from scratch by my co-writer and friend, Mr. Justice, we have an actress whose credits include The Book of Ruth, among others. And this is her third time on my round table. Please say hello to Sherry Morris, who played the role of Laurie. Hello, Sherry. How are you?
Hello. Doing good.
Thank you for joining us from Alaska. Great to see you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, as Laurie investigates the graying of society in The Reconciler, one person she interviews is a little girl who had a near-death experience, and that little girl's parents are with her in the movie. And we have the actress who played the mother in the film. She has several other film credits to her name, most of which were directed by Sean Justice, who also directed The Reconciler. Please say hello to Michelle Blanchard. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you. Now, as the Reconciler tries to reconcile victims one right after the other, he gets the attention of a police detective who is investigating who is behind these disappearances, and we have the police detective who is obsessed with finding the Reconciler. He is an actor with more than 100 credits to his name. His bragging rights go, he has bragging rights for playing the physician who pronounced Lincoln dead in the Steven Spielberg movie Lincoln. And he retains his title as my most frequent guest. This is his 7th appearance on my roundtable. What can I say? He's just a great guy to talk to. Please say hello to the one and only Bob Shepard. How are you, sir?
Yeah, Bob.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have the guy who did a wonderful job telling all of us actors what to do. There's not enough I can say about this guy. I constantly credit this guy as the gentleman who made my dream come true to work in the Christian film industry. My co-writer on The Reconciler, the producer of the film, and the director of The Reconciler, the president of Justice Pictures, the one and only Mr. Sean Justice. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, Scott. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here. Now, I'm sure that some of you and some people out there who are familiar with The Reconciler are asking yourselves, okay, I don't quite recognize the guy down in the bottom corner down there. I don't remember him in the film. Well, there's a reason why you don't remember him from the film. It's because he wasn't in the movie. That's right. The gentleman down here at the corner is a dear friend of mine who lives here in Massachusetts like I do. He's the pastor of New Bethel Baptist Church, as well as the host of the radio show Sound Travels. His name is Pastor Dan Walker. How are you doing, Pastor?
I'm doing well. How are you? How is, you know, it's so good to see, shall we see the actors and the characters in the wild as it is. I love it.
Yes.
You know, there's, and of course, Sean gets the award for the best backdrop. He's sitting next to the computer. So you get the award. You'll be, you know, a gift certificate for Wendy's hamburger. Good. Right. Only on the second Tuesday of each week between the hours of 6 a.m. and 4 a.m. So
very good. Yes. Well, Pastor Dan, it's great to have you here, but let me quickly explain to the panel as well as our viewers as to why Pastor Dan is joining us. Back when I first started doing my roundtables at the beginning of the pandemic, I attempted to do just an actors Reconciler reunion, and I got together Bob and Sherry, who are both here, as well as Frank Chiserum, who played Detective Bill, who sadly couldn't join us tonight. And Bill, Frank, and Sherry were all wonderful. But I must confess that of all the roundtables I've ever done, that one is hands down my least favorite, because halfway through I realized I had made a mistake. I realized that I could not host a Reconciler reunion, because Reconciler is my baby, and I just like to talk about it too darn much, and if I'm the host, there's nobody to keep me in check. So I came to the conclusion, if I wanted to do a Reconciler reunion correct, I could not be the one asking the questions. So I'm going to do the very first in the history of my roundtable. I am now going to recuse myself as the host and turn the hosting duties over to Pastor Dan, and he will be the commentator / host of the roundtable from here on out as we talk about the Reconciler and we all catch up. Pastor Dan, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Scott, and thank you for the opportunity and the challenge of trying to herd a bunch of cats. This ought to be very interesting. So I guess I want to start with the thing that most interested me, which was whenever I watch a movie, and Sean doesn't know this, or maybe he does, I'm an avid trivia person, and one of my stronger categories is movies. So if I like something, I remember it scene for scene, word for word, and it gets annoying sometimes because you find me quoting, you'll find me quoting Roadhouse, or you'll find me quoting all of the Fast and Furiouses and that whole bit, and people look at you like you've grown a second head. So I'm going to start with Jordan Steele, because I think that's a great name. I'm just very happy that you chose Christ and not porn, because you already had the name for
it. Hey, the Steele twins are the new porn stars of the world right now.
Yes, okay. Because I mean, that's just a tailor-made name. Let's face it.
Do I delete their cameras? I think we made a mistake.
Oh, yeah, so, have the technology there to do that, right, bud?
So we're going to ask Mr. Jordan, what was your favorite scene of the movie?
I would say my favorite scene, honestly, in the movie was when my brother...
I want you to lie to us. So don't, yes, don't.
Whenever someone says, to be honest,
yes.
No, yeah, my favorite scene by far was when I was sitting on the trunk talking to my brother, and we had that heart-to-heart moment. And for me, that was just like something that was not only just familiar, because my brother and I have had a lot of heart-to-heart moments in our life and ups and downs and twists and turns, but that just felt so real to me. And filming that scene was effortless, and the cameras all disappeared and nobody else was there. And to me, that was just a moving moment. And I love doing work like that, where it's very up close and personal, close-up shots, no wide angles, just straight to the emotion. And that to me was just not only the most fun, but the most not challenging, but the most fun to explore, I guess, the emotional, roller coaster that you can perform, but you're not feeling like you're performing, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Jeremy, same question.
Oh man, I don't know if I could pinpoint like a favorite, my favorite scene, but I did enjoy kind of in that similar scene where I was just wrapped up in the bag, in the trunk of the in the room there. That was probably my favorite scene to film because it was just really fun. Not actually being in the box, but when I got out of the box and like freaking out and having all the energy, it's like I didn't even have to try to act because I actually wanted to get out of there. So that was probably the most exciting and fun part of the film for me for sure.
Cool. Mr. Robert, I'm going to go off the book here and ask you. You are clearly the one with the most credits and the most acting that's been done. How was it working with all of these quote unquote newcomers to the business? Did you find that you had to mentor more than act, or you know, talk to us about that?
No, in reality, I'm just too busy trying to remember my lines. I don't have time. I don't have time to worry about anybody else, to tell you the truth. But no, it was absolutely a delight. I loved Sean and Scott right off the bat from the very beginning. And so I felt very much of a connection with them. Now, the one thing, though, as far as I didn't interact with hardly anybody until I think my very last scene. I mean, I'm driving, I'm in the elevator, I'm skulking around. So it's all me until finally, and I'm sorry it may preempt you a little bit, but I love the ending I had with Jordan and Jeremy, and there was kind of a really neat little look when they were trying to figure out exactly who's who and what's going on. So I enjoyed that, and maybe it's just because I was finally glad to have somebody to share the screen with.
Shooting us.
Now, I need you to help me because your screen says Kelly, and we know you're not Kelly. What's your name? I gotta
Levi, like the jeans.
Levi. Okay, I'm gonna by the end of this broadcast, I'm going to remember Levi. I promise you. But in the meantime, Mr. Levi, when you were on set, did you have any particular funny stories that happened, or did you have something that stood out, not so much in the filming, but just the concept of being on set?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the funniest thing and just kind of like the most interesting thing to me too was sort of the stunt work that we did, because it was a scene where we used a green screen. Yeah. And it was definitely the thing that sticks out in my mind the most, and probably the story I tell the most, is because the conversation that we had, even with the stunt coordinator guy, was, we're going to act like you're being pulled up and kind of movie magic, like do this and act like you're dropping and that kind of thing. But the guy playing my dad, Aaron, he just decided, he whispered to me, he said, no, I'm just going to pull you up. Like, we're not going to pretend, because I'm a bodybuilder. I'm just going to pull you up from the chain that we're attached to via handcuffs. And I'm thinking, cool, anything for the shot, let's do it. And I mean, we did it 3 or 4 times, and by the end, my wrist was all bloody and raw. So it was great. It was totally worth it. It was amazing. So.
Absolutely. It reminds me of my one time when I was actually in a video. It's on YouTube. I play Santa Claus, and in the shoot, I have to eat cherries or some sort of fruit that the elf, grapes. The elf is feeding me grapes. I cannot stand grapes. And the director kept saying, cut, let's do it again. So I completely get the whole concept of this, because I'm having to eat grapes 10, 15 times, and I hate grapes. But like you said, when you're doing it for the shot, you just do it.
Just do it. Yep. And it was great.
Michelle.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
What was your biggest challenge in making the film?
Remembering my lines.
Really?
Well,
why? Did you use any tricks to help with that?
Well, I just had a small part, so I didn't have a lot of time on set. So if I think about the biggest challenge of the set, it was probably just remembering my lines.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd call that a challenge, but.
So Michelle, it's just us girls right now. So I'm going to ask you to dish. You know what that means in real life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want you to dish just a little bit, just between us. Nobody else can hear it, just you and I. Tell me something that you've always wanted to tell somebody about what happened, but you really couldn't, but now you can because it's just us girls?
Well, Sherry and I spent quite a lot of time at the table together, so we had a lot of girl talk, and she shared some inside stories and told me some acting tips.
Oh, cool.
I won't.
So Sherry was kind of your mentor?
Cool. That was actually my favorite part about the whole thing, and working with Sean, but hanging out with Sherry at the table.
All right.
That was pretty dishy, girly stuff there, so there you go.
Thank you. All right. So, Scott.
Yes.
As the, you know, whenever you have something like this, a project this big, you have a vision for the project, you see it happening as it's all coming together. And then when you go to the movie theater or when people see it, it's all out there. What do you hope the people, or what do you want people to get from this?
Well,
And Sean, I'm going to ask you the same question next. Go ahead.
Well, to be honest with you, one way
don't be honest. Remember, you have to lie to us.
Yes, let's not do that joke again. It's getting old already. One of the things that I must mention right off the bat is one of the reasons why I put this film together. I'm not going to name anybody, but I saw several people some of them were my church family and some of them were in my social circle, who just kind of had like grudges they were holding against each other for a long time. And one thing that anybody in my family will tell you is that I don't stay angry for very long. I guess I'm just too lazy. I don't know. And one of the whole reasons behind writing the play that eventually became the movie was because I wanted to make people, think about the person that they hadn't talked to in a while. And Sean, if you want to jump in here, one of the best stories that came from the set was something that we had a father and son working on the crew, I believe. And I was talking to the son, and he said that, yeah, I wish I could lock my older brother in a room with my father. And I think I don't remember who the crew member was, but he said that he was actually going to send a copy, one of the Reconciler letters to his son and a copy of the movie as a way of kind of reaching out.
That's excellent. Sean, same question, but I'm going to ask you something I want you to tell me how it was working with Roddy Piper.
I've been thinking about what Scott said. What was the first part of the question?
The first part of the question is, what do you hope people get out of watching this?
Oh, gotcha. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm not going to lie, but how's that?
You did the joke. I did not do the joke.
I didn't say, to be honest. So, yeah. No, it was, I loved the idea of the movie having and challenging people because we all have people in our lives that we think, it's, well, maybe not everybody, but that you think, how would I ever, reconcile with that person? We seem on opposite sides of the spectrum or what have you. And, whether it could be family or whatever. And it was really cool. I really like the idea and the concept behind it where, if you force people to be together and talk, at least just start talking, or even if they're yelling at each other to begin with or what have you, that's still communication, right? That's still getting something out there that you can work with. They say the opposite of love is not hatred, it's indifference. And,
right.
And so if you're, getting things out there and you have a mediator, someone to, talk with, like Scott did in this one and their scenes, that can be helpful too. But I guess what I just wanted people to get out of it is to start considering the relationships that they feel are beyond repair, and maybe think maybe they aren't that far beyond repair. Maybe there's something that we can come together on. And, in doing faith-based movies or movies like this, you want to be able to make a difference beyond just entertaining people. If you can get them to think differently, or to think through again, maybe how they look at the world in a positive way, you've done a lot more. And I'm sure when Jesus told his parables, he told them to get people to think, right? It wasn't just, an entertaining story he told. But it was something that there was always purpose behind it, always to reveal the kingdom and how God looked at relationships and situations, and, where the real kingdom values sat. So, my hope is ultimately is that people would consider that and look at their relationships that they have that they think are irreparable.
Okay. And the Roddy Piper question?
Oh, yeah. What was it like working with him?
Yes.
I knew Roddy before. I had actually worked with him on a pilot for a show that he was doing. I was his lead cameraman, and we got to know each other really well there. And when I wrote the part, so what happened real quick, just, I don't want to get too far into it, but when Scott, the whole movie was based on a play Scott wrote, and he and I had other projects we were developing, but, I said, that'd be a great little movie. And once I got the play into a script form from Scott and then polished it and tweaked it, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're short a movie. We needed more material to the movie. So I wrote the whole subplot for Sherry and then her editor. And then, of course, we immediately thought, let's talk to Roddy to see if he would be open to playing the editor. And so that's how Roddy came about. Roddy, he was a unique guy. And I'm sure everybody that worked with him, Sherry, and others can attest to, he had his own way of doing things and saying things. And, I'd look at the script when he was doing his lines and I'd be like, okay, he's off track there. I'll just, just going to throw the script sometimes. Let him go for it. And he brought his own.
Sherry, I'm coming to you next. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, he brought his own flavor to it. But it was fun. I think he understood what we're trying to do with it. And I was okay with that because I really got the impression that he did. And so when he changed lines or, did this or that, it was like, you know what, it's okay. And sometimes as a director, you're like, no, it has to be exactly how I wanted it, and other times you're like, no, I think they get it. I think they get the theme of it. And sometimes they don't. And you bring them back in.
What I've noticed is that there are certain actors who are perfectly fine with going off on their own and doing to the point. And when it comes out exactly what you were looking for, even though it comes out, like you said, their way. Robin Williams is a perfect example of that. And other actors that are good at spontaneous ad-libbing, shall we say. Sherry.
Yes.
You worked with Roddy.
I did. It was fun.
Could you
elaborate?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I was trying not to say that because you said it was fun.
Yeah,
when you noticed he wasn't doing the lines. How did that like take you off your mark?
I don't think so. He was just it was like real, kind of the way he would present it. And so it makes it easier sometimes to act when, you can ad lib a little bit. Right. And the way that he was, bold and out, loud, and, it would cause me to, react to him. Right. Because I never acted with him before. So the first, I'm like, oh man, who is this guy? But it was good. I think it turned out, it was enjoyable to work with him. It was fun.
Well, when I was watching it, it looked to me like you were genuinely intimidated by him. Pardon?
Yeah. Well, that's how he made you feel. That's how he made you feel, because he's so raw personality. So it was good, because I think him being my boss, you know, as the editor, I needed to feel like, you know, intimidated a bit from him. So that was fun. It was fun.
Cool.
I would just like to inject, for a little while, I was a big man in my house just because I was in a movie with Roddy Piper. My sons grew up loving wrestling. So, you know, Daniel
as did I, and as do I.
But Roddy, he's the guy, you know.
Yeah. I'm the same.
What I can't believe is how many people, there are people these days that I have to explain who he is, believe it or not. And the one thing that I will always tell people is, if I say Roddy Piper and they go, who? I go, do you know who Hulk Hogan was, or who Hulk Hogan is? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, Roddy was arguably his biggest antagonist. And they're like, oh, okay. So.
Right. And actually, Roddy was before Hulk Hogan in terms of, but you have to go back to wrestling, and I'm a wrestling person, so yeah. Jeremy.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. What was your biggest challenge in making the film?
Man, I guess.
I mean, other than the fact that they put you in a trunk.
Dang, all right.
Leaving the trunk aside, what was your biggest challenge?
Honestly, I think acting with my brother, because I know him so well, like inside and out, that when I act with him, I can like see when he's acting. I can see through everything he says. So I think just like looking at, like, you would think we're really good at everything because, you know, usually together we're stronger. But with acting, when we're bouncing off of each other and it's scripted, it was kind of a challenge for me to kind of stay in character and to stay in the moment, because I would be looking at him and we can talk without talking, you know, just like, and I can just know that when he's about to crack up. And I think that was probably the biggest challenge, was not cracking up half the time on set.
Michelle, how did you deal with this whole idea? Did you know where the movie was going before it went there, or did you kind of let it unfold as you were doing your parts?
I didn't have access to the script before I showed up. I just believe I didn't read the whole script. So it was kind of a surprise when I saw it on the big screen.
Okay.
It was great though. I think the storyline's awesome. So it was a surprise to me.
How did you get involved in it, Michelle?
Dan, can I just interject one thing here just real quickly?
Yes.
Kind of based on based on something that Jeremy was saying just a moment ago. You know, Jeremy said, you know, it was a real challenge, you know, knowing his brother so well and interacting. And one of the things that I think is great is a lot of people say how wonderful you guys were whenever they watch the film. And then they're stunned to find out that that's almost not the way it was, because it's worth mentioning here real quickly that if you look at my original play or watch the original video of my play, I was not trapped in a room with two twin brothers. I was trapped in a room with a grown-up mother and daughter. And one of the other, Sean was mentioning that, you know, he and I were working on other projects when we went on to this. And the truth is, Jeremy and Jordan were attached to one of those projects, and it was a project written for two 18-year-olds, and we were pretty sure that they were going to age out before we ever got that greenlit. And so I said to Sean, what's easier, finding a mother and daughter who live where we're filming this that I might have good chemistry with, or rewriting the script for Jeremy and Jordan to do it, who I've worked with before, I know I can work well with, and we in a way can keep our promise to them because it looks like we're not going to do the other movie. So it was one of those great accidents that we couldn't have planned on, so to speak.
Fantastic. I was asking, Michelle, how did you get involved in this whole idea of the Reconciler? How did you get involved?
Sean called me and said, would you like to be Sierra? And I said, yes.
Easy peasy.
No, sorry, Sienna. So I've known Sean. What?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, oh my goodness, say your name one more time. I'm going to write it down this time.
Michelle.
Not your name. The one with Kelly on the one with Kelly on the screen.
Sienna.
Sienna.
Sienna? No.
no.
I'm trying to get the gentleman. His name is not Kelly.
Oh, that's Levi.
Levi. Oh, I hate this because it's throwing me off. Yeah. Levi, how did you get in? I know, also loser. Thank you.
No, that was for Levi.
Yeah. How did you get involved? Making his final debut as the host. How did you get involved with this whole thing?
I have honestly no idea.
Sean called me.
Literally, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how it went down. Sean and I knew each other because when I was in high school, he was involved with some of the projects that we were doing there for our film class, and I guess he just remembered how amazingly talented I am, and but he just thought
it's true. It's true.
And modest.
I was like, I want to use him someday.
And that was about it.
So, raise your hand if you were not contacted by Sean. Okay. So Jordan and Jeremy were not contacted. They came through Scott. Everybody else was contacted by Sean.
Well, Robert raised his hand.
Oh, Robert. Okay. Yes, Robert. How did you get involved?
Well, I think Sean and I had a mutual friend named Byron Jones. And Byron actually contacted Sean and recommended me. And so Sean was game for it. So they flew me out from Virginia to Portland.
So this is a joint question. Anybody wants to just jump in and ask it? Who had the most ridiculous request amongst the actors?
This wasn't a set that had a budget that you could make big demands, really.
So nobody wanted green M&Ms?
No, I don't remember any strange requests, really.
No strange requests.
I could tell you one interesting thing about Levi and Xander Steele, who played his dad in the movie. One of the I'll never forget the time that I saw them, because when we did my play, it was a real father and son who played Jeff and JR, and the son was actually younger. Sean suggested we turn him into a teenager so that we could find somebody who was actually old enough, but we didn't have to worry about employing a teenager. And believe it or not, there were two actors who had been in the Kendrick Brothers movie Courageous, Rusty Martin Jr. and Rusty Martin Sr., who are really father and son. And I was begging Sean to try to get them for these roles. Sean even let me call them up, but it turned out that we never got to negotiations because Rusty Martin Jr. had a scheduling conflict. So Sean said he would cast the parts locally. So I'm going to the set saying, okay, I hope these local actors that Sean got are really good. And I'm just watching them do this Jeff and JR scene, and I'm just fixated on them the whole time. And afterwards, I pull the two of them aside, and I tell them, I just want to let you guys know, and I tell them, we were going to try to get the Martins for this. And I said to both of them, you just made me very happy they turned down the parts, because they were the right you guys were the right type of contrast that I wanted between the father and son characters. I wanted a father and son who were close but were polar opposites, which is why I wanted it to be a kid and a army soldier, Sean did an excellent job casting them, and he couldn't have found two better polar opposites to fill the roles than Xander and Levi. So
excellent. Robert.
Sure.
Again, just Robert, just you and I, ain't nobody else listening. Tell me something that you always wanted to, when this movie was going on and you wanted something done, but you never said this should be done this way.
Well, I think my biggest shock is what a diva Sean was. It was, don't look at him, don't talk to him. Only if he approaches you can you say anything. That's a total lie. He was great. Well, that never happened.
I think you're mixing me up with Spielberg.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you are very focused when you're directing, in Robert's defense. You are very focused.
Well, I was just totally joking. That was not a serious comment at all.
I know, but I was just tagging on to that, though. So
it was meant to add a bit of levity.
Well, in the behind the scenes, actually, I think the twins there, they were talking about that, about my intensity,
Right.
in the interview.
No, yeah, I remember that.
Actually, I have been on a set that was told to us, but I will not reveal who that actor was. But it wasn't involved with this production at all.
Right. So, Michelle.
Yes.
Now, have you done secular films as well?
I've done commercials, and
Okay.
the film I'm in post-production on now is not faith-based, and the one that I'm getting ready to start production or pre-production on next in December is not faith-based. So yeah, I audition for secular shows. Yeah.
Do you find, is there a different mindset when you're auditioning for a secular show? Or do you, like, because you, is it safe? Well, actually, let me ask, do you have a relationship with Christ, and has that helped you in your acting? And does that come into play when you're doing secular shows?
Yes, I absolutely have a relationship with Christ. He's the only reason I'm even acting. He's the one God's the one who's encouraged me to even do any of this. Otherwise, I would have never done it. So yeah, I get my courage from him, because otherwise it's just really scary for me. So yeah, he's kind of the only reason that I'm able to do it and why I do it. But the mindset on a faith-based film as opposed to secular is a little different, but not much, because when I'm getting ready for a film and when I show up on set, I'm just there to perform and do my job. And it doesn't really matter if it's a faith-based set or not. Although when I'm lucky enough to work on a faith-based production, I love it, because I like to act. I like being in the industry. And if I can put any of my work or efforts towards something that has a really awesome message that might land with people and change their heart and change their mind, and if I can work with other people who also feel drawn to be in this industry to make really good stories, different stories that are out there, that's a blessing, and I want to support that. And so in that sense, it's different. I'm excited to work with people who have like-minded, the like-minded desire to make really good stories that are impactful to people, that are pretty family-friendly most of the time, and that just have really good stories that can change people's hearts. Because like what you said in the beginning, Jesus talked in parables all the time. And when I set out to write my first script, that was what my thought was. Like, well, how should I write? Well, how did Jesus write? You know, he would think of a concept and then think of a way to bring it out in a story. So yeah, faith-based films are different because I get to work with other folks who are making really cool stories. But other than that, it's just showing up on set and performing and working. So did that answer?
All right.
We invite you to this at the last minute, Michelle.
Well, I'm going to ask Levi the same question. Well, first of all, let me just ask everybody, is everybody here professing Christ?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes for Robert. Yes for Michelle. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy's nodding yes. Jeremy, you're on Zoom. They can't hear your nod.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sherry.
Yes.
Yes.
Jerry's a pastor like you are.
Well, church.
I'm sorry to hear that. You should be studying. You have a sermon in 2 days.
I studied all day. Gonna keep studying. I love it.
Yeah. What's your message going to be? What's your message for this Sunday?
I'm studying on the 7 churches. So we're starting on on Ephesus, doing the lampstands in the book of Revelation, and we're going to start with Ephesus. Excellent.
In our Bible study on every Tuesday night, if you want it, we do a Zoom Bible study, and we are also in the 7 churches. And we just finished the Church of Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
So we're doing that in Bible study. So the message, my Sunday message is pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. And this Sunday is part 3. It's the last part of a three sermon series.
Nice.
And so anyway, let's bring everybody else back in because I don't want to bore people. So Sean.
Yes. Yes.
What are you doing these days?
Oh, wow.
You want me to come back to you while you prepare the list?
No, I do. My day job is doing corporate video and documentary work, and my passion is doing the films. And so I'm just wrapping up a documentary I directed and co-wrote and edited on the Oregon Trail and the Native American presence in Western Oregon. That'll go at the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. That'll start showing hopefully when they reopen really soon. But I'm involved in helping to write a sequel to with Amy, a sequel to Murder of Innocence. We're just nursing that along. I'm trying to finish editing The Narrow Road, which actually Michelle was in, and Xander, who is also in, who played the Army father that we were talking about. And then I'm working with another group out of LA on some mainstream films. And we're very close to getting funded on those. So that's kind of exciting. COVID kind of delayed it. But we've been kind of working with the group and they've, been jumping to the hoops. And so that's really good. So I hope to make an announcement that fairly soon. I've just got a call today that one of the final hurdles got hurdled. So, and I don't know, spending time with my family and, we just having a blast. God's blessed us for sure and feel very fortunate and blessed. So, yeah.
Scott.
Yes.
What are you doing these days?
Well, these days I'm doing what is my main entertainment job. Believe it or not, I have managed to continue to perform as a magician and a singing telegram guy. I tell people that singing telegram guys really never went out of work because we were wearing masks before everybody else was. You know what I mean? We were in like chicken costumes and pink gorilla costumes and singing to people. We just can't get too close to the recipients now. And there's a new term in the world of magic. It's called contactless magic, which basically means you put together a magic show that can be done outdoors and you involve everybody from their seats. So I actually got 2 singing telegrams tomorrow and a contactless magic show on Saturday, which I'm looking forward to. Rest of the time I'm Uber Eats driving. And one other thing, I'm doing these round tables, and I'm also, Sean, were we going to mention what's happening with the Reconciler?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Sorry.
We'll do that towards the end.
Moderator says no.
Okay. All right.
Towards the end.
Yeah, but that's basically what I've been up to these days.
All right, Jordan.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Man, it's been a crazy time during COVID. I've been fortunate enough to be I'm a manager of a door and molding store in Burbank, California. So I sell basically doors and moldings to residential homeowners as well as contractors that flip houses. And the numbers are going up. Everyone's doing their home improvement. So I do that during the day about 6 days a week from like 8 to 4. And then at nighttime, I work with my twin brother and we produce electronic dance music, which is a huge passion of ours. We went to a few festivals a few years ago, and that whole world changed our life and everything in some really positive ways. Some negative ways that, we've turned it around and everything like that. But just connecting with music in general has just been uplifting for me. I grew up with a musical background, so it's nice to be in touch with that.
Cool. So if I said to you, you'd know who Kraftwerk is.
Kraftwerk?
Yeah.
I think I've heard that name. Are they a production company for festivals?
God, am I old? Sean, are you old too? Does anybody besides me know who Kraftwerk was? No. Okay. Before there was EDM, there was Kraftwerk.
Really?
So You have some homework, my brother Sean and Jeremy. You are to learn who Kraftwerk were.
Kraftwerk, okay.
That was Jordan. Actually. Jeremy's down there.
People can even screw us up when we have our name tags on the screen.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy.
Well, Sean couldn't keep you guys straight in the credits. You're credited wrong in the film, so that's.
Jeremy.
I'm a twin, yeah.
What are we doing these days?
Well, right now, COVID it's kind of been crazy over here, but I am in school right now, getting my real estate license to join my mother in her practice. She's starting up her own brokerage firm called Steel Estate, which I'm super excited about.
That's great.
Yeah, like we started.
Man, I'm telling you, some of these things just write themselves. That's an amazing name.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to joining her team on that. Starting off as a junior agent, but yeah, we've been my brother and I have been producing EDM music for other artists as well, and been making a little passive income that way. COVID has kind of gave us the opportunity to like really learn the production programs and the softwares that they can only teach you so much in school, and it's been able to be great to work with people over Zoom and just contacting through social media. But yeah, we're also looking at starting a YouTube channel. We do miss acting. We did kind of take a break from it. But I think we're in the right place. And, a lot of our friends have done pretty well with it. And they've encouraged us to kind of get the ball rolling again. And I'm lucky enough to have that time right now to be able to do that. So, yeah, that's kind of like my focus right now, I guess.
Which one of you was in Santa Clarita?
So we don't live in Santa Clarita. We did live in
which one of you was in that show?
I was.
Oh, Jordan. That was my brother. Yeah.
All right. So since you're going to jump in, Levi, see, I told you I'd get it by the end of the show.
You got
Levi,
me,
what are we doing? What are we doing these days?
I just make coffee.
Okay.
Yep. Make coffee, try to win some souls whenever I can, and try to raise my baby boy.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Trying to be a good husband. That's hard enough.
Robert?
Yep.
Well, after about 2.5 years of work and effort, a film that I co-produced and have the lead in called Past Shadows, we have finished post-production. We have a screening for cast and crew tomorrow evening, and we are sending it out to distributors all over the country. That'll be the next hurdle. So this movie's been around for a long time. In fact, I think I even talked to Sean about it once upon a time when we were before. So it's been really a lot of work, but we're very pleased with it, and we'll hopefully have it out in distribution relatively soon. And fortunately,
is it a faith-based? Is it a faith?
Well, we call it a supernatural faith-based film.
Oh, cool.
So
all right.
It's not typical. It's not typical of faith-based.
I like it.
But it goes back even to a piece of glass that came from Golgotha that ultimately moves into our helping solve the crime. So
I like it. No more spoilers. That sounds like a cool thing.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yes.
What are we doing these days?
I am finishing up my short film in post-production, We Nation. It should be done by January. I'm having so much fun with that, editing it and figuring out the scoring. And I am working with Aaron Allen. Xander Steele.
Xander Steele.
Yes,
okay.
Aaron Allen.
He's going to kill us for this.
He wrote an awesome story. It's about his life. And he's asked me to help him produce it.
Wow.
Cool.
So we are putting that together, and we are having a lot of fun, and we'll start active pre-production in December, but that's just awesome. The story is so great. He's really excited about it, and he's a really gifted writer. So It's been really fun getting to know him better, and helping him with this film is just a lot of fun. So
I know where you can get some good background music.
Where?
Where?
Tell me.
Jeremy, you were supposed to jump right in there, man. That was your cue.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Sherry.
The film is called Concerning Me, so you're going to have to look for it. It's
Concerning
really
Me.
Cool. And it's about Aaron's life. Yeah.
Cool.
It's awesome.
Sherry,
Yes, sir.
what are we doing these days besides being
Oh,
in Alaska?
I'm pastoring, of course, and been in a building program at the church, built a whole new educational wing. So that's kept me pretty busy. And yeah, you know, COVID kind of shut down some of the things we've had to suspend. Well, not suspend, just, yeah, suspend it. Our Israel tours, because I take people on tours every year. And so we change the dates. So we keep changing the date. we
Sherry,
keep changing.
You there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I want you to make sure Scott, make sure Sherry has all my information because she's doing two things I want to do.
All
so,
yeah, I've been taking people on tours to Israel since 1998.
Good. So we'll get together with that because I want to go. On my bucket list is Israel.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so good.
All right. So we're getting towards the end of the hour. So I don't want to. I think I've asked a few of you what your favorite scene. Huh? No, I think I've asked a few of you what your favorite scene is. But now I'm going to reverse the question. What scene did you least like doing? And why?
Well, actually,
Scott, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I can tell you. I don't know if this is kind of a combination of probably my least favorite scene only because I was embarrassed by it, and this is going to tell one of the most infamous stories that happened behind the scenes. I probably have told you before, but I'll mention it anyway. I'd only done one film before this, and I've only done one film since. And there's a scene, if you've seen the movie, you mentioned, you know, we take Jeremy out of a trunk, okay? Prior to that scene, Jordan and I were standing alone in the room, and everything you see me taking out of my pockets is props. It's not my wallet. It's not my phone. It's not my keys. They were all fake, okay? So I'm supposed to salt stick him after he comes out, you know, take out the sieving snow, and I'm supposed to salt stick him. And the prop guy even said to me, if you break one, we have more. So since everything else was fake, I assumed those sniffing salts were fake. They weren't. They weren't. If you watch the film, Jeremy's reaction is 100% genuine. If that wasn't enough, the scenes beforehand were shot almost totally in order, and I had gotten a splinter on my hand from taking the crate off of Jordan in the scene where he falls, and so I had an open wound on my hand. So I've just broken something that has salt in it, and there's open wound on my hand. So right after Jeremy is trying to get the bleach out of his nose, I screamed like a little girl because there's salt in my wounds. So
it's ammonia. Those are made from ammonia.
Yeah. So Jordan, what was your least favorite scene? Or the experience that just kind of tried to. Go ahead.
Yeah. For me, it's so hard to pick one of those because a lot of my scenes were very emotional and they were fun to film because I got to explore different ranges. And I don't know, I don't really have a scene I like the least. I just have, like, every time I was on screen, it was exciting for me to be a lead role, you know, in a film. And for me, that was just the whole time. I just was really happy and enjoyed the character, enjoyed connecting with the different actors I got to play with, like Scott and Jeremy mainly, you know, and Robert as well. And that scene was so fun too, you know, and with this flashlight and everything. And he played that perfectly when he was seeing around. It was great.
My dad loves that scene, by the way. He thinks it's very
fun. All right. So Jordan's running for office. We're going to move on.
I guess.
Jordan's running for office.
Yes, because he's giving me a completely great political answer there, Jeremy.
Yes, I'm gonna. I mean, you know, Scott kind of took the words out of my mouth with that one. I completely had forgot about that, so that kind of does change my original thought.
I did say I was sorry, right?
No, it's okay. No, but yeah, with the sniffing salts, it was crazy because it was like really unexpected, and I think that was a one take wonder, wasn't it? Like we just did the shot and then that was it. And then I think there was no retakes on that one. Yeah, so that was definitely like, I mean, it kind of turned out being one of my favorite scenes to film because it kind of like jolted me into life and it kind of kept me on my toes. But again, you know, being able to act, you know, growing up and being really close with Scott and Jordan and be able to, you know, be in the same room with them and create this magic that we had together. I don't know, there wasn't really like a scene that I hated or disliked besides, I guess, getting messed up with the sniffing salt. So,
Levi, please, you know, this love fest is getting to me here. Come on, man. Give me something real, Levi.
Something real? Okay, I can give you a couple of things. Honestly, I got dirt, but I'll say the least favorite thing for me was when my dad throws me over his shoulder. And I'm supposed to just be knocked out. Like I think all 3 times, and it was probably his least favorite too, because he had to carry 170 pounds of Puerto Rican meat. Like that's crazy. Like he whacked my head all 3 times that I can remember. I don't know. Like I got hit in the head all 3 times on that bar on that hill, and I just had to act dead. I mean, it helped that my head was getting hit. So, but that was probably my least favorite thing, and you can kind of see it even. And I think I react, but anyway.
Robert,
you hear the boom.
Brother Robert.
Well, I am sorry to you know, join the chorus, but I really don't have one that I didn't. One I did all mine in one day for one thing, so it's just bang, bang, you know, one right after the other. But on my bucket list is again that I get to work with Sean and finally get it on screen with Sherry. That's my goal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bob and Sherry have done 2 films together, and they don't have one scene together in either one.
Wow.
Michelle.
I only had one scene.
And she hated it.
It's a trick question.
And you hated it.
And I hated it. No. It was great.
Sherry?
Sean is always fun, so I don't have anything bad to say. Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's all right. Sherry?
Yes.
Bring us home.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh,
I lost. I guess I lost or something.
Yeah,
we can still hear you. We lost your picture though.
Well, I had an incredible time. I always do. I think one of the challenges on one of the scenes, and this is a funny part, but I was supposed to be doing a real serious scene, like a crying scene, and I wish we would have gone back and redid that scene. But I sat down in a leather seat, and you know, the guy with the earphones on it, you know how when you sit down, it makes that sound.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't him, it was the other seat. So then I had to kind of try to sit down, and you can see it in the film how I tried to sit down real quiet, but he was, and it was hard for me to kind of get into that serious mode after I, you know.
Made the sound.
Yeah. But that was it, you know.
That was.
We still can't see you.
I don't know what. Let me see. Switch.
You got to hit the camera.
Work on it, and I'll talk.
All right. So let me ask Sean a question. Sean.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've been with this thing 6 ways to Sunday, and twice on Monday. Is there any one scene that you said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I let that stay in the movie"?
It says the host did it.
In the movie. Well, you know, when you're editing a movie, you know, you kind of edit around and edit out, you know, everything that, you know, because I didn't have an editor. Well, actually, my DP, Kevin, did the first pass edit on the film for me, and then I went in and did the fine tune. So, you know, you're always working on, you know, cutting out what you don't want, and you're cutting out things you thought you wanted originally too. So, no, I don't think. I mean, I'm very perfectionistic, I guess, in how I do my work, and so, you know, for me, I don't think there's anything in the film that I don't like, because that's my job as the editor.
Right. Will there ever
out.
be a director's edit, a director's cut of the movie?
No.
No,
because I was the editor ultimately.
Because you were the editor.
In the end, it was, you are watching the editor's cut. So, yeah. And just to answer the quick question that you had before, I think the least favorite, it was a scene, it was a location, was the stuff between Xander and Levi. Not because they did an amazing job, but we were out at Beacon Rock, up the Columbia River Gorge, where we shot all that, and we didn't shut the park down. We actually had to work around visitors that were coming and going, if you guys remember that were there.
It was like a drum circle at one point.
Yeah, and so it was a huge challenge and a major, not a headache, but you were just, always, trying to avoid everybody. And when we left there and we got what we got out of the scenes, I was very happy to be back in a controlled environment. So to me, that was my least favorite location, but we got some gorgeous stuff too. So I was real happy. And of course, Levi and Xander did an amazing job acting. So I
with about 20 spectators off camera to the right that you can't see, because we were asking people to come up to the asking people to come off to the side. So they ended up with an audience other than the crew.
Yeah.
Chainsaws and everything else.
So before we end, do you have, let's start in reverse order. Sherry?
Yes.
Do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
Jesus is coming soon. Better get ready.
All right. Michelle?
Oh, God.
I love it.
I don't know. Announcements?
That's kind of a mic drop. No.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to say? I already said about concerning me.
Sherry.
Yeah, how can we follow that? How can we follow what Sherry just said?
Well, I'm
not sure anybody can. I'm going to ask Levi. What you got, Levi?
I'll just try to be a husband and father.
All right. Robert?
Well, I hope you'll continue. I've actually done some more spots for the Hearing Assist, which is a national spot. It seems to be a gift that keeps on giving. So you'll hopefully see that still around on televisions over the next year.
Cool.
Yay.
Jeremy?
We are dropping some music before 2021. We're gonna have a whole 5-song EP out, so just be on the lookout on Facebook.
Jordan?
I'm going to say it's a saying I heard from one of my favorite people that I watch, Charlie Rocket Online. The best gifts, Jesus always brings gifts in the darkness. And it's just like Santa Claus. So whenever it's dark out, like during these times, just know that means that there's so many more blessings to come. And we're going to come.
Amen. And Sean, I know that you have an announcement, or you don't. Do you have an announcement?
Yeah, we're getting The Reconciler is actually coming out on Amazon Prime, Christian Cinema, and a lot of other places. Finally releasing it into a lot of different venues. And the reason we're doing that is exposure, because Scott and I actually diligently worked on writing 10 episodes to the Reconciler television series.
Wow.
And there are some recurring roles from the original movie too, so we may be calling some of you to see if you're interested in getting involved. But we're inspired by The Chosen, the series, and a few others.
Vindication.
Vindication, which we know all those guys who are making those, and there's been a lot of encouragement to develop more faith-based, television series. So we think that The Reconciler definitely has legs. You could see more stories of the Reconciler changing and working in people's lives to bring them back to each other and back to God. So we're excited.
I would love to see the Reconciler pass on his calling to somebody that he reconciles with, and it not and have that reconciler change, as you go through the series?
There are some things in the works that I can either confirm or deny that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, well, I could tag on to that, but I don't know what we're supposed to reveal as spoilers or whatever. But anyway, that's no. I just kind of reiterate what Sean says. You know, I want to, Jordan. Thank you for saying what you did, because you know, what was it again? God
It was.
makes.
It's like whenever it's dark out, there's blessings. So like Jesus always brings blessings in the darkest times. It's just like Santa Claus.
Right. Yes. Well, I mean, these roundtables that I've been doing would not exist if COVID hadn't happened. To be honest with you, I kind of just, Bob was on my very first one, and the first one, if you look at it's just me, him, and 2 other Christian actors just talking shop, and it evolved from there. And now we're doing reunions like this one. So
Right.
I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go. And Sherry, I believe Jesus is coming back, but I'm hoping he's going to give me and Sean at least 10 more years to finish some of the things we want to make. Because what can I say? I want to finish the work he gave us, Sean. Okay, I want to finish the work.
Jesus comes, I'm out of here. Sorry, Scott.
He wants to relieve us of our. He wants to relieve us of our obligation. He is more than welcome to. But I really,
whenever he comes, I'm ready to go. Just that simple. So it's been a pleasure. I am Pastor Dan Walker. I am privileged to pastor at the New Bethel Baptist Church in Framingham, Mass. I'm a live sound engineer, and I'm coming to the end of my rope, my line in that world, because I'm getting old and I can't schlep equipment around much anymore. But if your show is big enough and if you need enough things, I'll get it done. I love outside. I love live. This weekend, we're going to be going into we're going to be going down to one of the major bus stations and setting up a sound system and having a couple of churches come down and just sing and praise.
Nice.
I'm going to run the whole thing off of my inverter, off my car battery. So it's going to be fun. Those type of things I love. That's me going back to my roots, because I'm a street preacher from way back.
Awesome.
Scott.
Yes.
Thank you for asking me to do this. I hope I didn't let you down too terribly bad.
You did a fabulous job. If people want to hear, one of the reasons why I asked you to do this is because of you had already interviewed me and Sean on your radio show back when we did a screening of The Reconciler at your church. Now, if people want to, if our viewers want to listen to you on the radio, where should they go?
They should go to internet, Boston Praise Radio 102.9. And my shows are there, or you can go to my YouTube page, which is Dan, D-A-N-V-E-R 39, Danver 39. I have a whole YouTube page where you can see all of my shows, a great deal of my sermons, and my early years as live sound. There's a lot of different performers up there. I did sound for Ladysmith Blackman Basel, and their segment is up there. I've done sound for a lot of different blues legends and blues people. I don't think I did Mighty Clouds of Joy, but I don't think it's up there because they didn't allow me to, because they were under contract, blah, blah, blah. So somewhere when the lawyers finally pass away, I'll be able to post my Mighty Clouds of Joy footage. But other than that, so you can certainly see me there. That's kind of where we're at right now. I'm in the process of when I got called to pastor, I had to make some decisions, and the first decision was everything had to be focused towards the church. So as that happens, I things have to go. Pardon?
I think she was agreeing with you, Pastor Dan.
Did Sherry say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be selling off a lot of my big equipment because I just can't serve 2 masters anymore. Not that I ever could. So, I'll keep a system, because let's face it, a sound engineer without a system, that's never going to happen. But my 10,000 watt front of house is all going to go away at some point soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's been a pleasure and getting a chance to meet and talk to and hear all your different stories. Do you have any encouraging words for the people out there who want to do what you're doing? And we'll start with Sean. And Sean, I'm gonna put a little cap on you there. I want you to, you know what I mean?
There's a lot to say, but
yeah,
I would say just get out there, and the technology and the editing software that's available now is incredible. Watch videos on filmmaking and techniques on YouTube. There's tons of them on there, but don't wait. Just get out there, find some scripts, write some scripts, tell the stories that are on your heart, and go for it. And maybe it's not good to begin with, but you'll get better and better as the more and more you do, and you'll find that you'll impact people that you had no idea that you'd impact. Get them on YouTube and anywhere else you can put up your short stories, short stories, as Michelle's doing, and just go for it. And you'll just get better and better, and who knows where the Lord will take you with it. Depend on Him, pray, and trust in Him in all things, and He'll, bring your heart's desire. So, and
one of the things that I'm gonna do a little scripture thing, because we give a pastor a mic. That's what he does. I love the fact that you said just start doing it. The lepers were not healed. If the lepers had not moved, they would never have been healed. The Bible reports that they were healed as they went, meaning that it's okay to get the healing, but you've got to do something to, you have to do something. And what they had to do was they had to start moving. So I love the idea. If you just do it, never mind whoever, the swoop thing, just, if God has placed something on your heart, do it. It's just that simple. Right. Scott, do you have any encouraging words?
Well, I don't know about encouraging, but this is the advice that I would give if I were to talk to somebody who were in this situation. One thing that I tell people is that if you were to look up the definition of the word tenacity, you would probably find my picture, because tenacity is the key. I just do not give up. But the other important thing is I would tell people to make sure you should do what I eventually had to do, which was get over myself. Because I know people whose projects will never get made because they are like, it has to be this way and it has to be written this way. If I had said the Reconciler has to be a certain way, the Reconciler movie would not exist. And the thing about, I've said this several times, in fact, I think I say it on the interview on the DVD. One of the reasons why Sean and I write so well together is because he knows how to read what I was trying to say and make it better. Other than the Reconciler, we've written 2 other scripts together, one of which was my idea, one of which was his idea. And they were both written by me writing the first draft and him writing the final draft. Because it's like he knows how to filter me. It's like the best analogy I can give, my friend Alan once said, so basically, Scott, you invent the tire and Sean figures out how to make it turn. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly. So one advice I would say is find somebody who you work well with. No, you don't, except that you don't know everything. And find someone who complements your weaknesses, like I did with Mr. Justice.
Very good. I'm going to jump over Jordan. I'll come back to you because I want to get to Michelle.
Basically what Sean and Scott said, just do it. Just do it. So if you're not doing it, if you're not doing anything in the entertainment industry because you're scared and it's a fear-based thing, remove the fear and then just go do it anyways. And whatever you do, just surround it in prayer, 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 prayer.
Amen.
And you can't go wrong. Yeah.
Levi.
Yeah. God gave us the ministry of reconciliation, and one of the best ways to display the gospel is by displaying forgiveness and showing forgiveness, especially to the people that deserve it the least in your life, especially the people that you least want to forgive. So you want to preach the gospel, you want to win souls, then start forgiving people. It's a good way to start. So, and I'm the worst at that. So I'm public enemy number 1, but I'm trying.
Amen. I think you're absolutely right about that. I was not allowed to ascend to the role of pastor until I was able to reconcile some thoughts and some feelings. I was pretty sure I had a handle on all my emotions and where they were and why they were. And God had to show me that, no, you're not going any higher until you deal with this. And that's excellent advice. There's always something in your life that you have to deal with, if you want God to bless you. And it's almost never what you think it is. But but if you diligently seek, he will show you exactly what it is. And don't be surprised when it happens. Jeremy.
Yeah, I think, this year's been really tough on me. And, one of the best things that kind of came out of 2020 for me was actually working on something that I actually like doing. And, for so long I was doing stuff for other people and I wasn't really happy myself. And then I kind of had to like cut off a bunch of people in my life to make myself more able to be a better person. And I think me finding my love for music this year and kind of gave me that outlet. So I guess I would just tell people that I know like it's really tough right now. It's 2020, things are crazy, but 2021 is near and it's going to get better. And if you're doing what you love, you can't lose.
Amen. Sherry?
Yes. I think that if you delight yourself in the Lord, the Bible says he will give you the desires of your heart. And, we've been talking about, I call it my own personal funerals, where I've had to bury some things in my life. And sometimes you want to go back to those, places. You want to go visit the tombstone and you want to raise them back up, some of those things that you've already buried.
Yeah. But, boy, do I know that one.
Yeah. But, I find that we have to practice the presence of God. And a lot of times in life, a lot of people think that whenever they give their heart to God, that everything changes so quickly. But we have to practice the fruit of the Spirit, consciously make the effort to be kind, consciously make the effort to have self-control, because you've made a decision. So I call it practicing the presence of the Lord. And so I'm going to delight myself in him. And I know when I do that he will give me the desires of my heart. So that's what I'm trying my best to do. And I've seen where when I have decided not to maybe say something when I could have, or maybe expressed a certain emotion when, you have every right to, but you maintained the fruit of the Spirit. I have found that when I do that, a stronger anointing comes, a stronger walk with God comes, and then he trusts you with more. And so I just, delight yourself in the Lord. Get to know him. He's your best friend.
Amen. I've saved the best for last. Mr. Robert.
I think one of the important things as an actor and in life too, if you have a goal, it's so important for you to enjoy the process that you're in. If you are holding out for the day that you're going to become the star or you're going to do, you can be very, very disappointed. But every role, if you take advantage of what the Lord is giving you right in front of you and do your best, one thing I believe will lead to the other. And it's so important to treat everyone as you'd like to be treated when you're on the set. And that's why I always like to so much get acquainted with the grips, the camera people, the other ones that we couldn't do without, and let them know how important they are. So that's all part, I think, of enjoying the process. And I believe God will bless you for it.
Amen. I know I used to say, you better be nice to the people you meet on the way up, because you can meet them same people on the way down, only this time they won't be smiling in your face. All right, Brother Scott.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Pastor Dan Walker, for being the question and answer person here on the Great Scots Roundtable. And I want to thank all of my co-stars and Sean, my co-writer on the Reconciler, for getting together. And just it gives me a chance to feel I've done several other roundtable reunions for Christian films, and this gives me an idea of what they felt like when they saw people who they hadn't seen in a while. So it was really nice to see all of you again, and I hope all of you out there enjoyed this, and check out The Reconciler. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.
Bye. Good to see you.